to be in your company.
Well, thank you very much. And actually, thank you for inviting me to speak to your audience and be associated with your company. I greatly appreciate it. It brings a smile to my face. It brings me back to my old days back in India, reminding me coming back, which were quite a number of years and quite a lot of experiences throughout India.
Absolutely. So, Alan, why don't you just start with this wonderful presentation you have created, because it is going to give us a complete perspective about augmented reality, and it will also be interactive for the audience to engage.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Good morning, good evening to everyone. If there's some from the US and North America, I'm sure good morning to you as well. But thank you for taking your time out of your day to learn about augmented reality. And we're going to today focus on augmented reality relating to engaging customers or sports fans, which we'll discuss as well, but ultimately driving revenue. AR has become a very, very hot topic these days. And it's become hot with the pandemic occurring around the world, is how to engage people who are remote, who are in their homes, to not only build your community, but allow you to ultimately drive revenue and grow your business. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So we took some slides, but created a number of new ones as well, just for today's presentation. So I hope you enjoy it. If you did download the Imagineer mobile app, we'll show you some screens you can point at and see some activations. Just to set the understanding of what augmented reality is, there's a big difference of augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. Those are the terms that everyone's very familiar with. So I just want to make sure we are using the same vocabulary. So augmented reality is an overlay of information on your mobile phone. So as you walk around and experience the world, you can look through a mobile phone and there'll be an overlay of information. That information could be videos, that could be an image, that could be a 3D model. It's a number of different enhancements and engagements that capture your attention and allow you to enjoy that experience overlay to get information or potentially, in certain instances, coupons or purchase opportunities. Virtual reality, as most people would know from the gaming world, is occlusions of the world. You put on a strap on a headset. The Oculus 2 just came out. Everyone's very excited about it. You remain normally indoors. You don't go outside with it. And it's a singular individual experience. Very much focused in the world of gaming, obviously, but also is making some major headway into the world of training and education as well. But it's not social. You can't share VR with other people like with a phone, where people can gather around with a phone, similar to, if we all remember, the Pokemon Go event. Mixed reality is really started to up and come with XR, which really covers the entire world of extended reality, which is putting on a headset. And that, as you see, like there's a picture of the Microsoft HoloLens. There's other companies out there creating headsets, as well as now you've got glasses coming out, but using a headset to engage the world while you look around full time. So those are the terms. We're going to focus on the world of mobile augmented reality. We'll show you that video after. So when you look at AR, it's been around since late 2000s, believe it or not. One of the first games that was successful was a company in Canada that actually created the AR Ghostbusters game that allowed you to use the phone to play against those types of characters. But the one real tipping point of AR in the world was the Pokemon Go, which started in 2016. A lot of people remember it. And even today, Niantic, the company that created it, has generated over $3 billion plus USD on Pokemon Go and continues to do that. It's made our headway AR into furniture. A lot of people are familiar with the IKEA app. It allows you to place furniture in your house through looking through your phone to see how to look. And sports teams have very much got involved in AR for years to apply it to fan engagement. And just quickly, look at the names of companies that were the early adopters. The market is growing exponentially around the world, but even back then when it started in the 2000s and early 2010 to 15, a lot of these companies jumped into augmented reality. This forecast came out from one of the analysts who is focused purely on the AR space, the digital space, and is one of the most conservative. But look at the market growth. to go from where we are today, 8 billion, to almost 60 billion in 4 years. That is an enormous growth. So everyone who's attending today will have tremendous amount of exposure of augmented reality as we continue forward. And the growth is a significant opportunity for businesses to utilize it, as well as technical companies to integrate it with their clients for their programs. Everyone's familiar with Tim Cook. He believes that AR will be the next big thing right after smartphones. And he has been quoted that multiple times. If anyone listened to the Apple announcement that just occurred last week, it was highly focused on augmented reality, iOS 14, as well as the LiDAR, which is the capability of a camera in the phone to read the room and map it for augmented reality experiences. So it's an exciting time for everyone. The timing is good. And just to show you a quick AR today, if you downloaded Imagine AR, tap on the app, open it up, select Scan AR Target, which is in the main menu, and then point your phone about 6 inches away from the screen, or 8 inches, and then you'll see a blue circle come up. And what happens is it'll download the AR experience from the cloud. We are a Microsoft Azure cloud certified partner, and it'll instantly deliver, in this case, an animation image of the NBA Sacramento Kings mascot dancing in front of you. So again, a simplistic one you could try right now. Just point to the screen. If this is being recorded and for later time,
it looks amazing. It looks amazing. Everyone has to try it.
And you can videotape it or take a picture of it and then share it instantly into social media. But just showing you image recognition and AR activation. This is called visual markers. We also do GPS, which I'm going to show you after this. So when you look at augmented reality, what is key? It's immersive, it's interactive, and it's engagement. It's something beyond just looking at a post in social media or something on Facebook or just a simple website. It allows you to engage someone interesting and get their attention. And this helps drive what we call an engagement and then ultimately a call to action. And it's important that these use cases are beginning to happen around the world. And it's starting to be used as references. So you can go out there if you're a business and look for opportunities as well that have been done to date, how to help your business, but also work with companies like ourselves and Indus and say, we're interested in leveraging AR and to bring it out into the market as well. But it works globally as well as locally. And that's key. You can hyper target it to geolocations for specific location AR experiences, but also like we just did with the Sacramento Kings around the world, no matter where that logo is, you can engage it and activate it. But today's world with COVID-19, the pandemic, people remote, you've got to build that community, build a relationship, be not passive, but interactive, and take the lead of engagement. And the experiential opportunity with AR is what's cool, but also necessary to differentiate yourselves and use this technology to drive and build a community, and then add that value of an engagement that drives to a purchase, utilizing a coupon, potentially redirecting to a website, and ultimately the consumers who are part of that community and working with you and experience it, they will reward you, they will purchase, they will engage, they'll refer other customers, and that's what you want to do in building your business. With us, you can build campaigns instantly. And when you look at AR, it's all about campaigns, a beginning, end date, with a call to action of engagement and immersion. That's what you want to do with augmented reality, is focus on that kind of unique ability to tie things together on the phone to the consumer, build that relationship, give them something related to the program you're engaging, and then ultimately drive a call to action. Visual markers, which is when you take the mobile phone with the app running and you point it at something, whether it's logos, pictures, images, it'll immediately derive and send to you on the handset an AR activation. If any of you are familiar with Snapchat, obviously they've done a phenomenal job in the world of AR using their specific filters, where there's face filters where you can point at yourself, but also they started doing physical filters at locations and buildings. So again, the overlay of information to engage people and get their attention so it gets shared into the internet. Imagine AR, again, just relating how we build it, we do not build the engagements into the handset because you want to change your campaigns dynamically. They're unique, there's certain timing. You don't want to have to resubmit a mobile app. So the key is look for the world of AR where you're using cloud-based interaction so you can change the assets of the campaign dynamically when you need it. So you might do a Christmas campaign, a Halloween, a Diwali campaign. You want to be applicable to a time frame to engage your customers for their specific needs, get their attention, and then move from there. All right. And the key is the data, right? You've got to take that data, track what's going on, understand it, and then adjust in real time what goes on. So this allows you to kind of take your campaign and fine tune it as you use it, leveraging all the data you're getting from the users. They'll be signing in with their emails. You'll be able to communicate with them, but use that data to redirect offers, build the revenue, and drive further engagement and opportunities as you go forward. I think this slide is key when it comes to looking at AR and really building your strategy because it's number one, most important. Yes, it could be cool, it could be fun to play with, but ultimately, you got to drive an ROI, a return on investment. If someone, especially today in the pandemic, where there's tremendous economic pressures in the world, and in India, we understand there's a different pricing model that occurs there, it is most important for you to build and focus on strategies that redeem a return on investment for yourself, for a business, whether you're a retail trying to drive sales, whether you're a tech company working with clients to build out their program. Ultimately, everyone wants to make revenue or save money. So it's important to focus on the ROI, but use the data out of the campaign to drive the engagement, measure what's going on a daily basis, see what the engagement is, see how to adjust it, because the mobile phone is a natural way to engage people. With COVID-19, it's safe, it's socially distanced, and there's over 5 billion mobile phones in the world today. And when you have digital channel strategies, AR is a key one to be upfront, but you want to make sure it's engaging all of your different strategies with all your different channels, social media, your web, your email, all together as a cohesive way to ultimately build that relationship and engage people. Those are the key words today. It's engagement, it's immersive, and ultimately you want a call to action out of it. We focus a lot in sports. That's where we started when we began with Imagining Art, because sports gets a lot of attention, and especially again today where a lot of people can't go to sports fans. How do you engage people? Consumers going to retail store. How do you build that relationship with the retail store? Everybody's shopping online, but there's retail stores who are paying rent every day. They have a lot of locations. They want to engage their target consumers and have them purchase and continually build their revenue too. And that's why mobile phones allow you to do it. This was an AR card we do. Again, if you have Imagining AR loaded, please select scan AR target. This is a simple one, but again, showing you just by pointing at an image, you move your camera a little bit within 6 to 8 inches, you'll have a few teddy bears come up. We actually created the first ever Mother's Day AR card with a retailer in the United States, in the state of Florida, where on their website, you actually ordered a bouquet of flowers. You then videotaped yourself on your iPhone or Android for 15 to 30 seconds. And then that message was delivered to the house of the person receiving the flowers. So when they received the flowers on Mother's Day,
That's very interesting.
well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. We could do a lot of fun. We could just do a whole day of AR. And the key is you can location it as well. So these, again, showing simple ways, but we focus on couponing and also sports. This is just giving an idea of a lot of the organizations we focus on. And we did just recently sign Valencia, one of the largest well-known soccer teams out of, or football teams, as you call it, out of La Liga, with 7 million fans around the world. They'll be doing engagements with their fans in their app. We actually offer something called an SDK, which actually integrates into their existing app and allows them to build out their own programs for AR. When you look at AR, I just want to give you a breadth of understanding. Yes, on Snapchat, I could put funny hats on, I could put rainbows on, I could point to buildings, and I could see cool stuff. But ultimately, you want to drive something that's going to build your community, engage them, and then ultimately drive revenue. The platform we use allows you to do any of these things today, including creating your own scavenger hunt similar to Pokemon Go. So imagine having a platform where instead of using, for example, Pokemon Go style assets, and you're a sports team, you can use, if you're IPL, right? And I was, the Chennai Kings, or as one of the other teams, I can use my own assets and place players around the city. I can drop players into people's houses. So I can do scavenger hunts at my sponsors, sell that, monetize it into a way to build relationships and community. So AR is more than just nice and fun and cool interactive. It allows you all these things, building loyalty reward programs. We're also going big time into online streaming. This is a simple one I'd show you again. This is a 3D Unity model for those who are technical. This is a very famous person. He's the cut man for Tyson Fury, the biggest heavyweight championship fight. We created him in 3D model in Unity. He could sing, he could dance, he could move, but we dropped it everywhere in North America during the fight in 60 seconds. So you can use our platform to create your own AR campaigns and drop anything anywhere in the world in a minute. This I want to show you, and I've showed a lot, and this doesn't look like regular AR, right? It doesn't look like a cartoon or model. So what we did in this case, I'll just give you an idea, is there was a group that wanted to do a graduation, and the gentleman on the left, he's a very famous music artist called Flo Rida. A lot of you might know him, but you do know his songs. And the gentleman on the right is actually the superintendent that runs schools. So with COVID-19, all the students missed their graduation. So they asked us to create something. So we did a green screen video of the individual Flo Rida, as well as the supervisor. And then we dropped it into all the houses in the community. So just showing you how it looks real through the phone next to the real person, the young lady. I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get it. It's going down for real. Hey. So if you see that, it looks real. So this is what sports teams are looking to do, and entertainment, music. I could drop a sports team right into your house. You could take pictures with them, you could take videos with them, and then share it in social media. Or I can include it, like I said, if I'm doing scavenger hunts as well, something like that.
Alan, I have a question here. Like on the video which you are showing on the left-hand side, does it need some kind of a marker, or does it work on any? It doesn't need any marker.
No, we GPS dropping. You type in the address or geolocation with the radius, and then it instantly shows up everywhere in that location. And I'm going to show you a little later, a little bit GPS example in India. Okay.
Okay.
So
thank
this
you.
is the key. You can do GPS as well as visual. The next thing we focused on, and again, thinking AR, trying to broaden your thoughts, is streaming. While people are watching streaming of events, sports, musical entertainment, make it from passive to interactive. So on the screen, while you're having live streaming, you can point your phone at, it's like Easter eggs in video games. You can have a logo of a sponsor or a brand, whether it's, Vodafone or Reliance. You have the logo up, you can point at it, and up comes a commercial, up comes a coupon, up comes, hey, want to learn more about this product? So you're interacting with the screen. Apple actually announced about a month ago that in 1 year, they're going to have live AR immersive technology with Apple TV. So while you're watching, you can have AR experiences in your house. Pretty cool. And if everyone's following the world of Mario Kart and AR, there's a new game that was done by an Indian development company. I forgot the name, did outstanding, that you can drive around Mario Kart in your house using AR. So it's really engaging people now in the house to drive relationships, have fun, and ultimately build that kind of community and relationships. You get a lot of data, what happened, and again, most AR platforms allow the data, who interacted, where they did, what location, who activated, and use this data ultimately to build your organization and focus ultimately on revenue. Why is augmented reality today getting popular? This is the reason why. It's low cost, it's instant, organic. Everybody has a mobile phone. Everyone who's on this call right now, I guarantee has the mobile phone sitting at their desk or next to them at the time, or using it just for the activations. Full integration with social media. Tell your brand story, get it out in a unique way. If you're just posting onto social media, how are you going to get what we call above the cluttered noise? AR is a mobile phone. It looks like a one-to-one relationship. That's what's key, building that loyalty and capture the data. I was also asked for this presentation, what are some resources online to learn more about augmented reality? So I just put a few of the key ones on the screen. So if you're interested as well in picking up on them, is actually the #1 augmented reality and virtual reality. They just did .tech, they just did an interview with me. It's actually out of India, but the articles on there are quite good. AR Post has been around for a while. #4 Forbes is a writer called Charlie Fink. He's also on Twitter, covers everything in augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, a great resource as well. #5, the AR VR Association, they have a website, and then AR Insider. So I just wanted to give a number of different resources if you want to learn more. Now we'll finish up with a couple more things before we proceed. You can point your phone and scan AR at this, actually at this image. So again, move your phone to the screen back and forth. You'll see a blue circle come up. This one's kind of big. This is a 3D model of a stadium. So wait a little bit while it loads. It's a big one. I wouldn't do this for consumers in a campaign, but in this kind of demo, it's kind of fun. And then you'll see a 3D model of a stadium come up, and you can move your phone around inside, around it, look in all around it. And it's a full immersive experience. Okay. Did that come up? Did you see that one?
Yeah.
I'm just checking. I have to make sure you got it. Now, just for everyone who's located in India, we dropped some things there. So if you look at our menu on the left-hand side, AR near me, if you select AR near me menu choice, tap on it, you'll see a few AR thumbnails on the bottom. You'll see a map located. You can tap on any one of those 3 we have. I don't think we have the same 3, but there's 3 there. And if you tap on it, point your phone at a flat surface on the floor next to you and kind of tilt the phone out a bit, and you'll see a character show up or a video, and just tap on top of the phone to plant it there. It's called anchoring in AR. And then that character or that image, I think we even did Flow Rider. We put them in there to dance. You'll see them come up standing right next to you. So you could put a family member yourself standing right next to it, videotape and share on social media. So that, again, AR allows you to drop things in GPS anywhere around the world. Did that work? Did you check it?
I'm not able to make him dance till now.
You point and you tap. And then the AR scavenger hunt would show up if you had a scavenger hunt that was set up around your location. So I'm hoping that this helps. The little gift box on the bottom of our menus, that'll be those reward cards. Those are coupons, which are attached to AR experiences if they were previously set up. So hopefully that was a good overview. I just wanted to give a brief one. I appreciate your patience and thank you for attending. We can open it up for lots of questions, as many as you want at this point, but hopefully this gave a good overview of AR and also gave you some interactivity while we're doing it.
So Alan, thanks for the presentation. It was very, very thoughtful and well done. Now, before we proceed ahead, to all the attendees, if you have any questions, any doubts, please keep on posting in the chat or the QA section. We'll take it up as the session goes along. So Alan, my first question to you is that when it comes to customer experience, experts predict that AR will soon create a seismic shift in customer expectation, on par or exceeding with impact of social media, mobile apps, and internet itself. And how the brands actually approach the CX or the user experience, customer experience. Right. Now, as brands work to incorporate AR into their overall digital strategy, how important is it to really keep the human experience in the front and center?
That's quite the question. I think that was a 5-minute direct question. So. But it's a good one, and it's really well thought out and pointed, that one. And I did not get these questions beforehand, so I have to prepare for the answer. So with brands trying to stand out in the marketplace today, they're seeing that a lot of people are no longer connected to TV. That's disappeared. And that most people look to the internet or primarily through their phones as well, to get their information, to learn about brands, to get certain types of opportunities, whether it's revenue opportunities or to get some kind of community. So AR allows them to leverage the mobile phone as a means to engage people, show their advance in thinking, as well as put them front of mind and front of thought for consumers to understand, remember them, and then engage them in an immersive, fun way. Everyone today, I think someone said it best in one of my previous discussion interviews, we are a microwave society. Everyone wants everything now, instant, and it's got to be good. And then they move on to the next thing. So it's almost like you have a quick moment to make your impression. So brands, companies, sports teams also have to do something quick, engaging, and fun to make them top of mind and to drive their brand and build their community to ultimately get the revenue. And mobile phone AR engagement is the way to do it. Now, you might have some questions coming is, what about AR glasses? We do know that AR glasses are coming. Apple is going to be one of the major players. They've been rumored out and they're looking to come out by the end of next year. But even for $500 for a pair of glasses, you won't have a lot of content to begin with, but it's demonstrating that could be the tipping point for AR. So rather than walking around in the real world holding your phone up, you'll be able to see it through your glasses, which are tethered to your phone, and start to see personalized offers. So brands have to look at AR today. Mobile phones, there's 5 billion out there. Engage people, stand out above the noise, and start figuring out how to leverage it to build out. And I know in India, I think Reliance has Jia is coming out with their glasses, I think JIO or JIA, and they'll be coming out with glasses at a lower price point as well. So it's all coming. Brands need to look at it now. They got to look at proof of concepts, trials, because the seismic shift is going to occur where it's going to be engaging purchase opportunities and recommendations that consumers are going to use to ultimately spend out of their wallet.
Okay, and is it also safe to say that if we have to compare the AR and the VR technologies, AR has got a more widely acceptable use cases and it's
Absolutely.
more widely used?
Absolutely, because everyone has a mobile phone. VR is great in the niche opportunity, obviously, of gaming, but it's a one-to-one relationship. I can't go out in the world. Say we put an AR experience just now, everyone around in India could see what we just did on the screen. You can't do that in VR within seconds. If we were in one specific location and someone dropped
Mhm.
AR, an AR experience at a location, and when it's at a location in the world of AR, it's called spatial anchoring, which is within the location, the space of the world. I have a specific anchor and I put AR and it will always be there and persist there as I keep coming back. So if 3 people are there, they can all look on their phone, they can walk around, they can talk to each other. It engages people socially for conversation communications. VR is a single individual normally in a one specific location, normally in their house, where they're interacting unilaterally just in that environment, and they're not sharing with the world. So AR has tremendous opportunity because everyone has a mobile phone and it's easy to get out and engage it quickly.
Yeah, understandable. Now, next, like coming to the upcoming economies of the world and so what we call the price sensitive countries. You know, we have seen in the developed countries, AR has been perceived well and is being looked forward as one of the most futuristic digital tools. We have seen this being implemented in packaging industry, publishing houses. I saw a small video where Amazon had also implemented in its own logistics environment, and then e-commerce and many more.
Right.
My question to you is that what is the cost impact to a company if they adopt such a kind of a digital tool? Will the price hugely increase, and will this technology be seen as a good ROI for a SME to invest in?
That's a good question. Another good one. You've done your research on these questions, Brian. So when you look at AR, first of all of the people who are here today, who are sitting and joining us, you can actually go to imaginearstudio.com right now and create an instant AR activation, either at a location or what we call the visual marker, for free. So I think that immediately overcame the cost basis for you to play with it, test it, and understand it. So imaginearstudio.com is up and running. Use the Imagineer mobile app to consume the experience. But when you continue, like you said, if we go where you want to SDK, which is integrate our platform into an existing mobile app,
Yes.
the pricing models will be adjusted for the specific target audience. As someone who's lived in India for quite a number of years, understanding in that case the difference of the price sensitivity for SMEs in that marketplace, we are going to be offering our platform at a much lower cost basis in India than in the US or Canada or in Europe as well. So we take that into account, and that's something that we could discuss as we go further with interested parties. But because you can start with us for free, you've got Snapchat that's out there doing AR for free. And as a matter of fact, Adobe has jumped into the AR content creation space with Adobe Aero, AERO, which is available both on mobile and desktop, where you can create AR as well. So you're seeing what we call the democratization of AR, where it is inexpensive, the costs are being lowered, and it's easier and more economical for SMEs and small business to utilize a tool like this and to engage their customers immediately. And that is something that will continue the price pressure downward as the market goes out, as the same in any technology, right, Bharat? As every technology goes
Yeah,
out,
yeah, I can understand.
tide goes low. But we are certainly fully aware of what's going on in the market in countries like India, and we have adjusted our pricing for that marketplace.
So, so you mean to say that if a company really wants to try out this technology on a small MVP, like it's going to be a very inexpensive budget, and they can easily try it out, and then take a further call on how they want to proceed ahead, right?
Exactly. They can go to imaginearstudio.com right now, create free activations, see how they work with mobile phones, use their assets. The way we do AR and provide it today is they can use MP4s, JPEGs, PNGs, OBJs, FBX. So any type of object. So you don't have to create new ones. If you had a commercial or video used before, you can utilize that. Use existing assets. And that's something we're seeing in the marketplace. A lot of companies want to do because of the economic pressures of today's time, even separate from India in the world with the pandemic, tremendous amount of economic challenges. So it's a way with AR to use existing assets, repurpose them in a new medium to gain traction, build a community, and drive revenue.
Okay, and at this point, I would also like to take a question from our participants related to India only. So one of the participants has asked, AR is enabled in a lot of mobile models till now. How long will it take for India to be AR enabled?
I think, and it's a good question. It goes to adoption, education. Those are the two challenges everywhere. But I believe that what's ultimately always drives these kinds of things are sports, entertainment, and special unique experiences. So for example, if a sports organization or maybe a team in the IPL or the IPL themselves, or maybe an entertainer does some unique AR engagements, it will get the attention to market and the adoption will be faster. As I had stated in the presentation, showed you, the company DigiCapital, which focuses on AR adoption, has the market growing globally from $4 to $50 billion. So it will come into India for sure. You will have a lot of AR. As I mentioned, Reliance has a company that's working on the glasses. So I think you're going to see it start to build significant progress in 2021 and going forward, and just will continue from there.
Okay. Now, with the AR ads expected to generate over 13 billion in revenue by 2022, please correct me if I'm a bit wrong with the figures. And as a result,
they're big numbers. I'll take the number, whatever it is. So they're big numbers no matter what.
Yeah. And as a result, account for over 12% of mobile ad revenue by that year.
Wow.
How crucial is it for the brands to map out their AR strategies now and to secure an early mover advantage?
That's exactly what we just discussed that I answered before on the brand.
Exactly.
Absolutely imperative to look at it now. There are brands looking at it. You look at, Snapchat has gone in Snap. A lot of brands have gone into there to do filters, to begin testing, check it out. So it's something that companies need to look at today. They need to start building it into strategies. With the pandemic, this is not going to end by the end of the year. This is something that's going to continue to go on and could go on for a year or two more. So it's important for brands, retailers, sports teams to look at AR now, start doing your proof of concept, start understanding how to use the technology, and start building those campaigns out, because it is now the next level of digital communications. It's beyond just posting something to Twitter and Facebook or into TikTok. You've got to build an interactive that allows you to engage, build your community, and the key is drive revenue. And AR is one of the tools that will effectively do it. And if Apple's going in and saying it's the next big thing, that should be enough for most brands and major companies to look at and say, you know what, we should take a serious look at it and participate in this new marketing channel that's going to grow exponentially for the next years to come.
Perfect. Now, see, AR advertising actually gives marketers an enormous advantage. Like, I could really understand from your slideshow, like the way if there's an interaction coming up with the ads, it definitely adds to the dynamism and interaction of the user. And we can see that AR can substantially change the advertising industry. But what, according to you, are the several challenges in the path of this technology? How do you think it is going to be difficult for these companies to adapt it?
I think the key is not from the company side. It's getting consumers, sports fans, your target audience to understand it. As I mentioned previously, it's all about adoption and education. And how do you get people to know that there's an AR activation sitting in front of them? So you need to coordinate the programs with AR, with printed material, with collateral, within your social media and the website, as I mentioned, all channels to promote it and build it. So companies need to start to understand that it is a channel, but it's a part of the channel of the overall strategy. And the challenge won't be from the company implementation side, because everything we discussed today, scavenger hunts, coupons, loyalty reward programs, sweepstakes, that's all built into our platform already. So it's available, but it's for them to find the budget, the right people to direct it, usually who are in the social media space, and to build campaigns on it. But how do you get your consumers to understand you're doing it? What's the benefits to them, and how to adopt and engage? And it all goes back to any new technology, right? It's the entertainment, the sports, the media, the fun things. You know, Pokemon Go was the tipping point for AR. And even to this day, where you don't hear a lot about it, it's still generating an enormous amount of revenue for people following it. That's what's going to help drive this adoption and help the brands. We allow brands to do their own scavenger hunts. They can create their own style Pokemon Go. That's a great fun way to engage people. So maybe for, you know, an IPL match, you could drop the players all around the city leading up to the match, just to get people understanding that I can find them, and maybe I can win a jersey, I can win something from it, maybe tickets, but engage people in a fun gamification way. I believe you understand, you know, gamification is one of the words that
Yes,
you're over.
absolutely.
That's how you're going to get people's attention. And AR gives you a great way to do it, because it's through a mobile phone, which everybody owns.
So understandable. And I think this also answers one of the questions which has been put up by a participant. How do you utilize AR for marketing purposes in India? I think you must have a clear idea by now how it can be utilized. I'll
Yep.
take up one more question from the participants. We understand sports is one of the main industries. What, according to you, are the others that might actually benefit from it? Do you think
Well,
industries like pharma or BFSI can benefit?
so pharma, I think any industry can leverage AR. If it's pharma, it's pointing the phone at the packaging and activating it. It's giving information on doses. When you get pharma information, you get these little notes that are in 75 little pieces, and you open it up with all the legality, but people want to know, how should I use it? What would we recommend? What are other people's experiences? So you can enhance the education side of it, whether it's pharma, whether the world of education is using it. You can use AR in the world of education for universities, especially now in today's new world of Zoom with colleges. How do you engage people? How long can someone look at a Zoom screen a day and absorb information? It's not engaging. It's not interactive. AR allows you to do it. You can bring pictures to life where a real heart model shows up right in front of you on your phone, and you can use your hands on the phone to rotate it, look at it, get information, take images of it. So it's education, it's media, it's retail. Retail is another big one that needs it. How do I get people to come back into the stores? What do I engage them with, right? So maybe I do a Diwali promotion where I offer special programs and coupons if you come to my store, to walk around and point to certain things around the store and get coupons and get educated. So the retail world needs it, because the world has changed with the pandemic, where Flipkart and Amazon have become the primary ways where people just hit a button. But how are retailers going to get people back in the store? And that's using immersive AR. So you can go into banking with it. We've got contacted by a group in real estate that wanted to sell condos with it. It doesn't end. It's finding the unique way of a platform to target your audience, to drive some kind of immersive experience, to build a community, to ultimately drive revenue. And that's the goal of using AR as a tool to build and drive ultimate or ROI, return on investment.
Oh, that's perfect. I think there are a lot of many uses which can be done even in the BFSI sector. Like nowadays, the interaction is just by typing over the internet and then searching for information. Instead of that, like if you could just projecting your camera, and if you can get the immersive charts and all the data right on your phone, it makes the entire interaction much easier.
Absolutely. Correct.
Now, moving on to my next question. How do you think COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the AR industry?
Well, I think I touched on that a few times at this point. It has, I think prior to the pandemic,
Mhm.
augmented reality was what we called cool and nice to have. The pandemic, and
Mhm.
because of the vastness globally of it and the length of time it will continue, has moved AR from a nice to have to a must have. It is now where we're getting lots of inbound inquiries around the globe focused on an audience that actually understands AR now, is interested in how to use AR, but knows enough that it will be effective for the program. So it has become more of, let me be educated, to I now understand how AR can benefit me, and let me look at your platform versus other platforms to understand how to engage it. So I think COVID has moved the adoption. As a matter of fact, the CEO of Snap, I think this week, 2 days ago, Snap is doing phenomenal, Snapchat with AR. They've said the same thing, that the digital world has moved up much faster, 2 to 3 years, the adoption phase, because of COVID-19. And I believe you're seeing that with AR as well as one of the leading technologies driven it, besides what we're sitting on Zoom, right? Same thing, Zoom, everybody Zooms now. So same thing, the COVID-19 is gonna move disruptive technologies fast, quicker adoption, and we're a public company. So that even makes it more interesting, right? We're actually a public company, a pure play AR company that's traded on the Canadian Stock Exchange, people can invest in, that normally are just, VC oriented, but AR is is one of the adoption areas that gets a lot of attention in the world of investment.
That's very interesting. So Alan, like you have told that Imagine AR has an SDK.
Yes.
So what is the advantage of using a SDK uh, versus popular platforms like Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok? Because all the other platforms are also providing us AR technology. So why should we use our own SDK?
That's a good question, because you're going into their environment in their community and you're giving them your data. When you do an SDK into your existing mobile app, you're controlling the flow of data, you're building your community, you're driving your messages, and you're focusing on building out your revenue. It takes everything into your ecosystem. Ultimately, mobile is where a lot of the action and attention is being paid attention to, and continue to grow. Why give that away to TikTok? Why give that away to Facebook? They're harvesting the data. We all understood, we've read the articles of Facebook. They're taking the data of your customers and using it to remarket. You want to own your data, control your destiny, and focus on your digital channels. So you want to do it in your mobile app. The SDK for Imagine AR allows you, in its native mode, to integrate all this AR into your mobile app, so you control your destiny, you control the data, and you focus the messages and what you want your users to hear, see, and experience in your app. That's a very straightforward, easy one to do. Make sense?
Yes, definitely. So if an Indian company wants to really implement AR, what do you recommend as a campaign that is low cost and effective? What is a good way to try out?
I think they call you, Bharat, and they call Indus and say, please help us do that. And right, obviously, that would make the most sense. When you do AR, you want to start small. You want to do a proof of concept. And everyone always says low hanging fruit. But the good news with AR is it allows you to try different things, different campaigns. It's not expensive. So you want to look at something specific initially that's targeted towards, if it's consumer, you've got Diwali, you've got Christmas here in the US. Look at something holiday oriented that you can communicate and tie with, that everyone's paying attention to. There's expectations of shopping deals or discounts. I think in May is gold in India. Am I right? There's that certain day in May. And
Yes, yes,
yeah, I know
indeed.
I got my stuff. See, I know, Bharat. So you tie it to a specific event, a sports event, a holiday. That's the initial easier ones. And then focus on building something fun and communicative, not just here's a coupon, but in a way to build an immersive experience. Here in North America, with Christmas coming, there's not going to be any Santa Clauses. And we didn't know really until recently that having Santa Claus in a mall is a very big deal in North America, because he sits there and everyone takes their kids to shop and take pictures. That's
Mhm.
gone with COVID-19. No one's going to be sitting there. So we can use AR to create a virtual Christmas land in a mall, right? I could put elves around versus AR. I could take pictures of my children with it, and I could put Santa sitting somewhere in there. I could do a scavenger hunt of my retails at a mall.
And
So
Santa will not even need a mask.
he doesn't even need to wear a mask. You got it. He could actually be there. So you hit it
Yeah,
on the head. Otherwise, everyone's going to have photos with masks forever. And that's
absolutely.
these days. So that's a very good point. So make it fun, make it a little unique, make it informational, but don't make it just flat. Like, just don't make it a direct, as if it's a print ad or some kind of brochure and say, here it is. It's not going to have the same effect. You want to entertain, you want to gamify, you want to make it fun. And with our platform, you can do it.
Okay. Now, especially in this pandemic times, I've seen a lot of edtech industries have come up, and
Yep.
India is like booming with these edtech startups. However, I do not see them really using AR to a great extent.
Correct.
So, do you have any? Can you suggest some examples for the edtech industry, and why do you think they are not using AR to such an extent?
I think, and that's a good question. And I believe the education industry is being transformed in the pandemic. And certainly they're questioning here in North America, why should I spend all this money for going to college when I'm sitting on Zoom and sitting online to see that? So I think you're going to see a great transformation in the education world. Again, more democratization of resources and assets out for people to educate and learn. So a lot of them aren't doing it because they're building the platforms just to compete with other platforms that are out there to build classrooms, whiteboards, digital whiteboards, and all the other tools. AR is another layer that can differentiate themselves, and that could be called web AR, right? I don't have to use the phone. They can layer AR onto the screen as people are watching and involved in the education. And that's another type of AR implementation that could assist them in differentiating themselves and giving students a new outlook where they have AR engaging on the screen. Or if there's materials they handed out, they can use AR again by using a mobile phone to point at it to engage it as well. But I think you bring up a fair point that that is an opportunity for one of these ed techs to go take and position themselves uniquely compared to everyone else to allow the AR models. So the classroom type of education involves 3D models and integration and immersiveness rather than just having somebody talk at them, because that's not how you're going to learn. It's more interesting and more engaging. So I think it's a good point you brought up. And I think it's an opportunity for some of those ed techs to look at AR and integrate it and take the lead in the market, not only in India, but probably around the world.
Fantastic. I'll take up one more question from the participant. One of them has asked, what are the advantages of XR over AR? So XR is extended reality for the rest. So they are asking for the advantages of XR over AR.
Let's go back to the vocabulary. AR is mobile AR. XR more is overall covering the whole industry and using glasses and a headset. So if you look in the current world of the industrial world, training on heavy machinery, XR is perfect, right? Because it's hands-free. I have a headset on, like a Microsoft HoloLens, and through that, I could see what's going on. I can get training manual. I could see little videos. They have something called remote assist in that world now, that while you're looking through your lens at machinery to troubleshoot it, There could be someone else looking through your lens with you and explaining what you need to do. So that's really where XR is starting to build out the world, where people are perceiving that this world is going to turn into a digital twin. It's called, someone wrote an article here, I think a year or two ago, called Mirror World, that for everything that physically exists in the world, there'll be a digital AR version of it in the world to experience. XR will be using glasses like the Apple glasses, the headsets that are coming out, that I can then walk around and experience them. But AR is a big enough market right now. Everyone has a mobile phone. If you're a business that is looking at consumers, retail, merchandise, education, nobody's purchasing headsets for 1,000, 2,000 USD, but everyone's got a mobile phone. So it's a base level of communication you could do. It's the best way to go out there. But there are companies already that are specializing in the industry production world of machinery that you need the hands-free version in the XR. Once the Apple glasses come out, and I think, again, the Reliance glasses come out, you'll see an adoption rate that'll occur over a period of time, maybe 2 to 3 years. Then you'll see more where you'll have personalization. So maybe I'm walking in the street in the downtown area and I'll see advertisement and other things come up on my glasses. Sort of like we always laugh, right? In the industry, the Minority Report with Tom Cruise is all those movies you see out there that use these things at a personalized offers on the glasses. So today you should look at AR, XR if you're looking at headsets, production industry. And then as the glasses start to come out and get adoption, you'll move from the world of AR to the world of XR with the headsets.
So do you see a point, again, this is from a participant, do you see a point where app will no longer be used or needed and consumers can just point their cameras on their phones to have an immersive experience?
Yeah, and absolutely. We just did a transaction. It's called WebAR, that you could just point your camera and get an activation. Apple glasses, if you look into their announcement even previous, their focus is actually more in the world of QR codes or Apple codes. So they're going to call it applets, that you drop these applets in different locations. And then as you see it through your glasses, it'll identify it. Because again, similar to an old style QR code, but in their case, it'll be an Apple kind of code. And then boom, up comes the activation. So that is correct. We won't get there for a little bit of time, a couple of years, but that is ultimately that you're going to come and engage and see it exactly. And it's going to be a whole new world of immersion and engagement. That's going to, and certainly the network's got to pick up, right? We've got to get to the point where 5G becomes more prevalent around, where we have more bandwidth, more pipe that allows to have more immersive experiences on a wide scale without delay, without slowness, because nobody wants to walk around with their phone, right, all the time and keep pointing. That's not a normal way someone interacts with the world. It's through glasses. So that is a natural way that you will not have apps, and it'll be recognizing, identifying codes, marks around the world, and then automatically seeing the engagement through your glasses. Correct. And we will be supporting that as we go forward.
So taking another concern raised by a participant, in a crowded digital environment, will AR only add to the cacophony? So the digital environment is already crowded.
Right.
And don't you think that AR is only going to add a cacophony to it?
Let's look at social media. How many people still look at social media? If you want to look at noise, clutter, enormous amounts of postings and that's a perfect example. Yet look at the growth of all social media, and it continues. This allows a unique interaction. And yes, any new technology is going to have the concerns or questions of the noise and what goes out there. But here's the good news with AR. Take off your glasses, turn off your phone, you don't see it. But if I'm walking through, say, example in the US, in New York Times Square, which is filled with signs and lights, well, those are billboards out there. That's a lot of noise in my visualness. Well, what if I had on my glasses, I'm walking around and ads pop up, and if I don't want to see the ads, I just tap the glasses and turn it off, then it doesn't become a part of it. So everything needs to be balanced. And yes, the digital world is always going to be crowded. And social media is an absolute perfect example of everything going on with Twitter, with Facebook, with Instagram. Overwhelming amount of content. YouTube, look how much video is up there. But they continue to grow, they continue to be consumed, and they continue to be effective. AR is just a new digital channel, a new means of communication, building community and drive in the real physical world in a way that's never been done before. And that's why it's an exciting time to be in AR. We've been doing this for 3 years plus and still doing it. And the changes that we see occurring just recently are significant enough that we see where that growth is going to occur. And at the end, it's all about choice. You can use your phone to access it, or you don't have to. And when the glasses come out, you can choose to wear glasses or not. But it's a great effective way for brands, sports teams, media, entertainment to build and communicate their audience, especially in today's world with the pandemic. And then even when we come out the other side, whether it's in stadium, concerts, you'll be able to continue building it and growing that audience that way. So it's effective in those types of pointed digital communications.
One question about your achievement, Alan. So Imagine AR is a public company. Isn't that unusual for a startup company? So
100%.
people can actually invest in your company.
You see the symbol. I think it's up on the screen. It's IP at the CSE. Normally, this type of company would be venture funded, absolutely 100%. But the company came to existence. I actually was living in India prior to moving to taking over the company. So when I moved and I came into it, it was already a public company. It had a different focus at that time, which was more on content production and licensing in the world of movies and stories. But I thought that that was not a good business model to build and grow the business. I love tech, and AR came to me back then through an advisor. And then ultimately we started up in the AR world. So yeah, we're a rare occasion. There was just an article, I think a week ago, that came out saying the unheard of 3 public companies that you should look at for AR if you want to look at it. And we're one of them. So in the Canadian Stock Exchange, it's called the CSE, the symbol is IP. In the US, it's on the OTCQB market. It's IPNFF. It's also on the Frankfurt Exchange. So, we feel it's significantly undervalued. And we also own a grouping of patents. That's what we call them here, patents. Sometimes you call them there. But we own a number of key patents related to AR as well. So we're excited as the industry grows. And yes, it's very, very low cost right now. Stock is sitting at a very low price. And we're very optimistic as the future grows for the world of augmented reality with Imagine AR.
Fantastic, Alan. Fantastic. All the best to your future. And since you have spent so much of time in India, what is one piece of advice for anyone who visits India? Like what should be there a must in his bucket list?
You know, I traveled all over, and what was funny is everyone always puts down the Taj Mahal. No, in 4 years, I wasn't there, but I was in Delhi multiple times. I saw the Red Fort. I've been in Chennai, and I went to the crocodile and snake farm there and saw amazing things. I've been to Bangalore and I've seen stuff. I think each part of India is unique and different, and it's not anything specific. I always had a wonderful time, an interesting time, and took lots of photos. That could be a whole separate presentation of the things I saw and experienced. But being open-minded when you go there is something I always say to people, because you're going to see things that you never imagined you'd see, and you see some amazing things, and it is life-changing. You get to see a lot of different areas. And funny enough, I still watch a lot of Indian movies. I did follow, a lot of your guys back then, including Shah Rukh Khan and all the stars, and regularly watch a lot of, still watch a lot of movies that are on Amazon Prime from India, and I still enjoy them immensely. So I say the bucket list is when you go, be open-minded, enjoy it. Certainly stick with the bottled water for sure, but there's so many great experiences no matter where you go, whether it's the backwaters of Kerala, whether it's in Chennai, whether you go to Bombay, wherever you go. It's a great, interesting country, lots to see, and you never get bored.
Wow. So there's another question which has come up, which looks very interesting. How data is secured in AR technology? Because if we start using AR, then there should be interference of data leakage. So how AR technology can take this up, take this security threat, can handle the security threat? Yeah.
So we are right now on our way to become GDPR compliant. We are a Microsoft Azure certified partner, and we utilize all the tool sets and the technology in the Azure cloud to protect the data. And we are very confident that it is pretty well taken care of. And we don't access the data as Imagineer. It is our client's data. We do not take it. We don't harvest it. We don't resell it. All of our agreements are that with our clients, it's their data, and we set up to protect it and make sure they're the only ones who can access it. And the Microsoft Azure technology and platform, which is pretty significant and global, allows us to do it and manage it. So we don't see that as an issue today. And we continue to work closely with Microsoft Azure to ensure that we are protected in all areas and will be GDPR compliant as we are now expanding into Europe.
So I think we have covered all the questions, Alan. It was a wonderful session and very insightful. We have just about the time to thank you for coming on board and sharing all the knowledge you have shared with us. Our clients, our team, they are all going to be very, very thankful to you. It was a very enriching experience. And we'll close this session by showing a little video thanking you for your time and effort.
Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting us from Imagineer to participate. Thank you everyone for taking time tonight to join us.
Ishani, can you play the video?
All set?
Yes, so thank you so much, Alan, for your contribution to the industry and for this session. And thank you so much to all the participants who attended today. We had a wonderful session.
Thank you very much, and wishing everyone a happy and healthy Diwali early and a wonderful time, and take your time to enjoy AR. And you have the Imagineer, you can play with it when we're done. And thank you to Indus and Bharat and yourselves for inviting us to participate. And we hope to have the opportunity to meet again in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan, once again, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Farewell, Tara.
Okay. Bye.